On Two Wheels this week, I meet Bob Heywood and his XJR 1300 Street Fighter. Jeff chats with a biking surgeon. Toby Branfoot gives us some first aid advice for bikers. But first, Jeff and I continue our French tour. Welcome back to Épinay in the heart of the French Champagne region on day 2 of our tour. The morning had started fine, and with our boots and gloves all dried out from the previous day's rain and snow, we gathered outside the hotel for a ride out to 2 more champagne houses and a visit to the city of Reims. Jeff and I left the hotel slightly behind the main convoy in a small group of about 5 bikes. We were fairly confident that we'd find our way, but I'm afraid that's when all the fun started. As you can probably gather, we're completely and utterly lost. Reminds me of a Bonnie Tyler song. Was it up there, that garage? Seen him ever going? Right, follow him. Follow that bike. You see, one of the problems is roundabouts, because what we would refer to as the third exit on a roundabout in France becomes the first exit, because of course you go round the opposite way. Confusing? Well, yes, it can be. You know, the problem is all the road signs are in French. That's the problem. If they were in English, we'd have no trouble. There we go. Hold on to your hats. And so, completely lost, we decided to forego the first champagne house and head straight for Reims Cathedral and await the arrival of the main group. Tour leader Alistair had noticed that some bikes were missing, and after a quick mobile telephone conversation, he agreed to collect us from Reims and lead us to the champagne house to join the main bunch.
We've got 86 people spattered all over Reims at the moment.
I shall follow. Okay then. You've
all right, keep going.
And so finally, all together, we had a tour of the cellars and an explanation of the champagne production. Then, of course, the tasting and a chance to catch up with some of the others to see how they were enjoying the tour.
Right, Joules and Graham, first timers as I understand it, on an MCI tour,
yep,
true?
It's brilliant, yeah.
And you've enjoyed it so far?
Absolutely, yeah.
Not drunk too much?
Pardon?
You haven't?
Oh, I've drunk a nice lot.
but it is good. You've liked the biking part, and you've learnt a lot champagne-wise.
Oh, loads, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And different tastes, and it's amazing the different tastes that there are. You think of a bottle of champagne as just a bottle of champagne, and it's not.
So I'll ask you some questions on champagne later, shall I?
All right.
Graham, how have you found it? You've been the pilot, because you're the rider, and you're on the BMW 12?
Yeah.
11?
K1100 LT.
Yeah,
I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been well organised as well. They've really looked after us, even right from off the ferry. You know, it's a meeting when we got off, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
So have you done continental touring before without being?
Yeah. We came with Pidcock motorcycles in Long Eaton, and we've done a Germany run there, and that was very good as well. Yeah. So we thought give it MCI a go.
Yeah, and well, why not? And so has this given you a taste for sort of more of these sort of party tours, or? Yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah, we've met some new people, and we're just making new friends all the time, and we've all got the same thing in common. Yeah, it
What's
really
that?
is. Yeah.
Is that booze or
champagne? Well, according to MCR, this has been the most popular one, and I think the mention of champagne has actually done it for them.
Keely and Steve, now you're regulars on these MCI tours, as I understand it. Gluttons for punishment?
Some might say. No, we just enjoy it so much.
So have you been on one of these champagne tours before?
No,
or?
first time.
This is just like a short haul, really. I mean, the first trip we did to the Dolomite Mountains was a 3,000-mile round trip. So yeah, there's a lot of riding. Where this is really just a quick jaunt, sample some champagne, hopefully a bit of sunshine, and then home again.
And how did you get on in the Dolomites for weather? Because I mean, when we had that snow, it surprised us all, didn't it, yesterday?
Yeah, in fact, the week before we went on the trip, we were watching some cycling on the TV, and there was snow, and I think we're going there in a week's time. But when we got there, although it was a little bit changeable, it was fine. Yeah.
But it wasn't as cold as this, believe it or not, and you were so far up that we were amazed that we weren't cold.
Yeah. frozen to the core, as it were. It was bad enough.
Yeah, it just seems strange to be riding your bikes and watching people ski by the side of the road, which we were doing at the top of one of the passes. Yeah.
So doing something like this is sort of a semi-educational. It's a social thing because you must know lots of people on this tour, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 people that we've seen previous trips.
Yeah.
So it's nice to meet up with them and catch up on what you've been doing in between.
Right, and you fitted in some champagne tasting in between.
Bit, yeah.
And so you're experts now?
Oh,
learned a lot more about it.
Now to drink it.
Knew that before.
Well, I'll drink to that. But one man who wasn't laughing quite so much was the rider of a CBR 600, which had picked up a rather large nail in its rear tyre. And how's this for the very latest design in tyre profile? A Yamaha GTS after hundreds and hundreds of miles in a straight line. Different, eh?
Well, if I had punctured it and then repaired it with the shape of that now, it's like a square tyre I've got, isn't it?
That'd be really terrible to ride on.
Yes.
Well, both riders managed to get new rear tyres that afternoon as we made the short trip back into Reims town centre for a spot of lunch, before leaving once again to sample some more champagne and to meet some more riders.
So we're leaving Reims on the M51, following signs for Epinay. Turn left onto the D26, right, signposted Villa.
And then follow the route touristique de Champagne.
Right, okay. Continue through Luz.
And we end up at a V's for a tasting of champagne.
Now, we've all come out for a ride on our bikes today to visit this champagne house and to sample the champagne, but not everyone's come on bikes. See, Malcolm and Jono, you've not come on. Why haven't you come on your bike, Malcolm?
Oh, well, we had a walk around Epinay.
Yeah.
And by the time we got back, we were going to train into Reims, but when Fiona, the organiser, said, I'm going there, I can drop you off in the car.
Oh, right.
So we've had a grand walk around Reims, so we're experts on that and Epinay, and we had a lovely lunch, and we've met up with the bikers here. It was a lovely sunny day yesterday. It was atrocious.
It was atrocious,
We should have come on the bikes today.
Let me ask you, are you hardened tourers, you guys?
Oh,
very hardened, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, are you regular tourers on your bikes?
Well, I've done 4,000 miles in 4 years.
Have you? Are you a
No, we go out every Sunday with the club, and we just go up to 200 or 300 miles for the whole day, and we get back. And that's only good weather. We are sunny motorcyclists.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Nothing at all. No, that's where the fun is.
Yesterday got a bit painful, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was going to say something on the balcony up there, and I thought, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. There will be them abed tonight will feel accursed that they were not on our trip yesterday. And they will hold their manhood cheap. Now, that is Shakespeare.
Is it?
I think he wrote a Fireblade, I'm not sure.
So your first time is you haven't been foreign touring before?
No, not foreign touring. We've done a little bit in England, but not really too far. This is the furthest we've been, which is probably clocked up 300 or 400 miles so far.
And so how have you found it?
Well, the bike's doing really well. You need to keep moving around. It's sort of, there's a sports position on it, but...
Because you're on a CBR6, yeah?
A CBR 600, yeah. It's, if you're not too big, there's plenty of room on it for two. And my wife's not too big either.
What about you, Suzanne? How have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've had a really good time.
You're soaking up the sun at the moment, but you welcomed that, did you?
Yeah.
And so how have you found the journey down then?
Quite tiring, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the cold or...?
A bit the cold and the wet, and also I don't really ride on it much, so it's quite a long way
So
for
a bit
me.
of a novelty.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And so has this converted you to foreign touring, or...?
Oh, we'll come again.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn a little bit more of the language, actually, so that I could break through a bit more. Getting lost and finding your way around, obviously a lot easier if you can speak a bit of the language, but no, it's been good. It's an experience. It's tiring, of course, and I think most tourers would probably say it's tiring, especially a long time in the saddle.
You two are sports bike riders on this event, this little tour. How are you finding the R1 first off, Richard?
Oh, it's fine. You can tour on any bike you like, can't you? I mean, it's got its limitations, but I don't have the problem with the riding position on it. It's fairly uncompromising, but I've done 14,000 in 2 years, and yeah, for me it works.
Yeah, because you're an MCI regular, aren't you? So
yeah, this is my 7th. But I've done a couple of down to the bowl when it was down at the circuit Paul Ricard.
I remember you.
Yeah, that's right. You were there on that one on your VFR.
Yeah, that's right.
No, great. No, and I like the tours. They're friendly, well organised, they're good value, and for me, it's good. Yeah.
What about you, Adrian? Because this is the first for you, yeah?
This is my second MCI tour. I went to Le Mans a couple of years ago, but great.
Yeah.
And I had the bike 3 weeks now.
Oh, have you?
Been a bit of a rush. Bought a bike, leathers, boots, the whole lot, and enjoying it.
Yeah, and you've got the Kawasaki, yeah? So
yeah, ZX6. Good fairing. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't struggle.
No, so you'd say the same as Richard, really. The sort of sports road, it's just no hindering to touring.
No. I went to Le Mans on my 750.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Been to Scotland on the 750. It's good as gold.
Yeah.
Well, they're the riders, but what about the tour organiser? What does he get out of it? Well, Jeff asked him, and we can find out next week. Also next week, we sneak a camera into the end of tour party. But still to come, this week I meet the owner of a street fighting XJR 1300, and surgeon Toby Branfoot has some first aid advice. Now, continuing our theme of looking at street fighter bikes, here's another one which to me isn't that obviously a street fighter, and to a lot of people they say, no, that's not a street fighter. That's what they say, Bob, about this XJR of yours. They say it's not polished up and it's not got fancy paintwork, but it's still a street fighter in your eyes.
At the end of the day, it's just to show that there's a vast differences in a club. You can go from the obvious down to something like this, down to just a normal standard bike, but as long as you join in and have the crack,
right,
that's what counts.
Oh yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's got a few modifications on it, which I mean, at first glance aren't obvious. So tell me about what you've done to this then.
It's an import to start with, so obviously it comes with all the goodies, the Brembos and the better shocks and the seats and the digital clocks. The exhaust pipe's homemade. It comes second hand from a bloke in Sussex that was drag racing,
yeah,
and it's all been chopped and changed underneath, re-welded. The can is homemade, bits out of the scrapyard. These were bought at Manchester, and that's just aluminium tubing, pop riveted, job done.
It looks right though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
Obviously, the axle, angle grinders, mud guards, indicators, have all the rubbish is gone. The rear sets have been put on. The man at MPS said they wouldn't fit. 20 minutes and they were on.
Right.
And the swinging arm was polished, and it's actually a ZZR 600 brace.
Is it really? Wow.
And I took it to make my checks, and they measured it up and said, "Oh, we'll chuck that on."
Flipping heck. Flipping heck. So did you bought it like the question I asked to all the Street Fighter lads? That you bought this bike and with the intention of doing these things to it?
I've always chopped and changed bikes.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm going to have a brand new one, a bog standard bike, and I bought it. The trouble is I was bored. So you start going back where you go back again to where you started, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. What goes around comes around, as you say, yeah. So you're going to do some more to it then?
Oh yeah, got loads of plans. It's just, it's time, effort, money, and you're trying to fit all the party in. You can't do everything all at once.
Right. Have you had the other street fighters? Because I mean, I think I'm right in saying a lot of people's idea of a street fighter is, as I said, a fancy polished frame and a GSXR motor and a fancy paint job. That is a lot of people's.
That's right, yeah.
Idea of a street fighter. Have you had all them? Have you done all that?
No. I've had bikes 23 years,
yeah.
And you start off with the old stuff with the Z900s and the Z650s and the 750 kettles, but I'm too old to have gone to that stage, so I'm just making the best at this stage.
You're not trying to say you've gone sensible, have you? Because I know you've.
No, I think you're daft there.
Right, great. So what's the next thing that's going on it? Go on, tell me that.
I wouldn't mind a set of upside downers for the front.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably do some with the paintwork, and then all this lot's got to go.
Can I ask you something about this? Because I know you're going to you've put money into this already. You're going to put more money into it, and a lot of these style of machines cost a fortune. You never get that back, do you, when you sell it?
Oh no.
Does that break your heart?
Well, no, because like everyone does what they want to do in life, don't they? And I don't smoke. In the week I don't drink, and then at the weekend I turn into George Best. But if I went round and worried about everything I spend and thought I'll never get the money back, I'd never do anything. That's what makes bikers different from Joe Public.
Oh,
because
I totally agree.
You do this and you know you're throwing your money away, but you're having fun.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Enjoy it, eh? Life's too short. Live every day like it's your last, that's what I say.
Oh, that's it.
Because one day you'll be right.
Well, my mum died young, so I want to just fit it all in case I go the same way.
Well, good luck to you, mate.
Do you remember a few weeks ago I did a piece on race-safe marshalling, and I met up with Toby Branfoot. He was a surgeon, but he gave up his time to advise people on the medical aspects when you find a casualty. But what about if you're out with your mates or even on your own and you come across a casualty on the side of the road, or perhaps one of your mates tumbles off the bike? We've got an unfortunate young lady here on the floor. But first, meet up with Toby again. Hi, Toby.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Good. Who is this young lady? This is Resusciani, isn't it?
This is Resusciani, that's right. I'm not sure what she's been road testing, but she's not done very well.
Yeah, I don't like the look of that leg either. But
no, nor do I.
One of the most important things that you should do, first off, you were saying earlier, if this was for real, you've got to look out for traffic yourself, haven't
I was
you?
going to say, you mustn't put yourself in danger. You mustn't run out into the road thing. So the first thing before you approach any scene is make sure it's safe.
Right.
Approach. No oncoming traffic, so then I can approach you.
OK, so we've come to this scene. I'm just going to be the observer. I'm not really here. And I should have introduced your colleague as well, Alison. Come over here. Hi. This is Alison Walker, Toby's colleague. So what do we do then? You have come across this unfortunate casualty.
First thing you need to do is, as long as it's safe to approach, is you need to approach her and make sure it's safe and see how she is.
Right.
So the first thing you need to do is come ask her how she is. You need to open her visor, and really it's a case of looking to see how she is and asking, are you all right? If she's conscious and she can talk to me, and it tells me that she's breathing, it tells me that she's alert and hasn't bashed her head too hard, immediately I know she may not be seriously hurt in terms of her other injuries, and she's unconscious. The first thing you need to do, though, having approached her and assessed the situation, is you need help. So the first thing I need to do is get on my mobile, let's call it, and call 999. We've got an ambulance coming, and perhaps I've flagged down passing car, what my colleague says. We need to see how she is. And it's important that I'm not letting her move her neck around, because she might have, she's tumbled off the bike, she's unconscious. I don't know that she hasn't broken her neck. It's very unlikely, but it's important that you protect all of her spine. If she's conscious and talking to me, the important thing is that she stays lying flat. I don't want her moving anything unnecessarily. You need to get the visor open, because you know how steamed up you get, just standing still. If she's seriously hurt, she needs all the oxygen she can get, and you don't really want to be rebreathing your own carbon dioxide with the helmet on. If she's conscious and alert and can tell me that she's got no neck pain, we can help her take her own helmet off, but keeping her lying down. But that would be the first thing. But you do want her to get a helmet off, and if she can take it off herself, that's easy. If she's unconscious and I've got some help, we need to get the helmet off, because the first key in looking after anybody who's seriously hurt is we tend to think of our priorities as ABCs. It has to be a simple thing that I can remember. And our ABCs in first aid, our airway, is can you get oxygen in and out so that they're not choking? Are they breathing? It's a good thing to do. And then have they got a circulation? Have they got a pulse? But my main priority is airway, which is the first letter of the alphabet. And with this big bit of Kevlar in the way, I can't tell that she's not choking, that she hasn't got some broken teeth, maybe her tongue's blocking her mouth. And so we need to get the helmet off. And you need two people to do that, and that's why I need help. Alison, can you give me a hand taking the helmet off? Have you done this before?
No, do you want to tell
me? If you come down here, we need to protect her neck.
Right.
Okay? And what I want you to do is slide your hands around the side of the back of her neck and just support it with your hands either side like that. Just support her neck to stop it moving around while I take the helmet off. Okay. Would you come and do that for me? I'll just keep supporting the head while we do that. And again, from this position, I can support the head just as well. This is a way of stopping her head moving around. Have you got the... Can you undo the helmet strap for me now? While I support the head. The whole point is one of us is always supporting her head whenever we're doing things.
What about someone coming across a strap? I mean, bikers will understand, but often people have trouble with bike straps. You advise cutting them off, don't you, if you're struggling?
And certainly on a race circuit, we've always got a pair of shears to hand. And yes, if you've got something to cut it with, it can be quite difficult sometimes. But yes.
Okay.
Have you got control of her neck?
I have.
Excellent. The whole point is one of us always has control of the neck. So if she's got control, we've got the visor open, I can take hold of the helmet, often just holding it by the straps is good, and I can gently remove the helmet, pulling it back and forth. It's important to remember that you don't wear spectacles, and Alison doesn't, but I do, and remember to take the spectacles off now.
Yeah, good point.
Trying to pull it off with the spectacles in is very difficult. You don't want to watch their nose, but you simply take the helmet off with a gentle rocking motion and pulling, just gently, and all the while her neck is being supported by Alison. And as the helmet comes off, I can now take that away, and I've now got control of her head.
Right.
So,
could you roll something under?
Absolutely. Because the thickness of the helmet, I don't want to drop her head and for it to fall back. And this is where you often need a pair of rolled up gloves or a jacket or something.
Just anything, just to elevate the head that bit.
But now we've got her helmet off, we can properly assess her, and we gently supporting her head, keeping control of her neck, and at this point I can look, I can listen, and I can feel if she's breathing, because I can feel her breath on the side of my cheek. And I can feel that she is breathing, and which means that so her airway is okay, she seems to be breathing, and at the same time I can feel with a thumb or finger, I can feel a carotid pulse there. So she's got a good pulse. So she's obviously bashed her head because she's unconscious at the moment. She's got a pulse, she's breathing, and I'm protecting her neck. And we're now waiting for the paramedics to come. And just simply looking after her like that is very good. Sometimes, although they're trying to breathe, you know how your tongue falls back when you sleep, and that makes you choke. Someone who's breathing, there's some very simple manoeuvres you can do to help that. And it's a simple case of pulling the jaw forward. You can put your fingers either side and just push the jaw forward, or you can take a finger and thumb and just lift a jaw like that, or someone else can support the neck while you do that. But a simple manoeuvre like that, or like that, we call it a jaw thrust or a chin lift. Simple things like that just lift the tongue forward and allow you to breathe much better. And you can look after somebody's neck, carefully keep an eye on the circulation and keep their airway open, simply like this. And if the paramedics arrive, finding you supporting their neck, keeping their airway open and protecting it, and assessing their circulation, if when they arrive they find that, they'll be very happy people and delighted that you've been looking after them so well.
And on Two Wheels next week, we'll conclude our tour of the French Champagne region. And I'll be giving you a guided tour of Honda's new cruise ship, the GL 1800 Goldwing.